How about this? Kate, where do you stand on Candy Babies?
Where do I stand on Candy Babies?
That's right.
What's the weird deal with trying to eat Jesus all the time? Like after death, right when he's born? What are we doing with this?
Every Sunday, baby.
Weird. Feels
The
weird.
tasty God there.
It's true. How are you, fellas? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Kate.
Kate.
Thank you. I'm ready for the new year. 2024 was kind of a shit show. So let's move on. I was ready to move into 2025.
Were you?
Yes. Yes, I was.
And how did the move into 2025 go?
Well, I tried to come to your house and then it was hailing.
Oh, well, I didn't mean like that, Kate. I didn't want to
And then
open old wounds.
no. I was ready to leave it behind, but we're off to a good start so far in 2025. I'll take what I'm getting so far.
Did you have Omos being one half of the Pro Wrestling Noah Tag Team Champions to kick off 2025?
Oh, of course. Yeah, that was at the top of my predictions card, was a guy who's been benched for 2 years at WWE, taking over Pro Wrestling Noah. What a wacky, wild little landscape we're in, huh?
I love it. I love it
too. I think it's perfect for him.
Yeah. If you're not going to use him in the WWE right now, put him in Noah. Let him get some reps in.
Sure. He was like progressing and then they took him off TV and he was nowhere to be found again. Like, he wasn't the best, but they had kind of found a groove with this character, it felt like, and then they benched him. But he, from what I understand, like, has a great personality and is a good company ambassador, so he's going to be around for a bit. So you might as well send him over to Pro Wrestling Noah.
I'm all for it. Again, who's bigger in Japan, Phil Rhea or Omos?
It's a good question.
What is
It's
wrong
a good
with
question.
you?
Why do you shake your head, Tony?
What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with him? You're talking about eating candy babies and
No, that was
recycling
KJG
them
talking about
from
Candy
Planned
Babies.
Parenthood.
Phil Rhea, star host of the Turnbuckle Throwbacks. What did you think I was talking about?
Candy Babies.
Oh, you're like, who's bigger? You're already
Yeah,
leaning in with
Omos or Phil Rhea. Goes
Yeah.
on with Bullet Club Rob over there. That's like a fucking.
I know what you meant, you fucking ghoul.
No, I
Like
didn't.
that.
You're being a very hurtful, sour man in 2025.
I'm not
There's a
sour,
whole
bro.
Gaijin stable of Phil Rhea, Omos,
And Bullet Club Rob.
and Bullet Club Rob. There you go.
Bullet Club's Rob's brother, Alan. What's his name?
Persephone.
Persephone. Fuck Persephone. As is tradition, Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th.
Yes. On a weekend this year. I love when that happens.
I didn't. It fucked me all up.
I'm sure.
I don't want to talk about the whole card because I didn't watch the whole card. I skipped a lot. I definitely skipped Tanahashi and Evil. I don't give a shit if it's his last year.
Glaze.
He doesn't do it for me.
He's also like, he and Naito, it's kind of Naito even more so than Tana, honestly, this time around. Like, it's tough. It's tough because I feel like the main event of Wrestle Kingdom certainly showed us that, like, Shota's not the next guy up, probably, not as a babyface, but I feel like they're trying to balance the fact that they have a lot of aging legends there that need to retire with the fact that, like, there's not a ton of new stars that are made. I think Gabe Kidd got turned into one at Wrestle Dynasty. I think most of Zach's matches are great. I'm obviously a huge fan of his. I think Fujita's probably like the future down the line. I think Tsuji's doing some cool stuff, but like the next guy up thing in New Japan is not a question that got answered really by this weekend. And I think that's a concern. And then when you see Naito kind of like sleepwalking through some of these matches because he's just made out of sawdust at this point, it's tough. Like I think that product's in a tough spot, but I always like, I don't know, since a couple years ago when it was like a big slumber party online, I felt like I got really into Wrestle Kingdom like 4 or 5 years ago, probably when I first started like tuning into this podcast, honestly. And I always loved this weekend. And I actually kind of liked Wrestle Dynasty better than Wrestle Kingdom, I think. That Gabe Kidd Kenny match I thought was absolutely unreal for considering Kenny's been on the shelf for 13 months, I think. Pretty wild stuff. And I thought ZSJ Ricochet was much better than ZSJ Shota, which had no need to be 40 minutes long at all.
I think they went long because Doki broke his arm.
Yeah, that sucks. Like that's such a bummer. That's such a bummer. But I had fun watching it. It was easier being on a Saturday. Like I stayed up for all of Wrestle Dynasty, but the cards just haven't like grabbed me in the same way. And then I look at things like Battle in the Valley and I'm like, this is a lot of rematches of stuff I've already seen. So I think New Japan losing Ospreay and Okada is definitely starting to like catch up with them right now, which is not the best.
Was catching up with them when they lost them. They weren't ready.
Yeah, and now it's like their first big season without them, you know. So I think it's hurting a lot. But
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen at the New Beginnings, and this is gonna upset you, Kate. And I don't mean to upset you, but Hiroki Goto is winning the title from Zack Sabre Jr. It's gonna be this. Hiroki Goto had a great G1. And they're telling the story. This is his last hurrah. He's going to beat Zach, and then Finley's going to take it off of Hiroki Goto.
I just feel like then, man, it's so weird because I don't like it when companies get in the groove of, and I didn't like it when WWE was doing this with WrestleMania. Like, you can only drop and win titles at this one spot. Like, I hate that. And so I'm not opposed to that, but I think you got to have something else for Zach lined up because I think, like, I'm a TMDK stan, obviously, but their inability to make them a force all at once is ridiculous to me. Like, you have Robbie and Fujita with the junior tag titles right after you took the other titles off of Mikey and Shane while Zach is IWGP champion. So, like, as far as stable booking goes, I feel like their weak booking of the tag division, because what the fuck was that this weekend, honest to God, with the Young Bucks? Like, Great O'Khan did not need to be in there. Jeff Cobb was doing some fun stuff, but like, I feel like they're in a position right now, and I'm sure this is part of why the Chris Charlton stuff like is such a big deal today, which I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Shouldn't be a fucking big deal.
No, it should not. No, it should not. And from my understanding, it's a big deal to New Japan. Like, I don't think anybody at AEW gave a shit from what I heard. But like, I think they're very reliant on AEW in the Western presence that they have. Like, and I think that's tough because, like, ZSJ versus Hechicero, cool. Like, I saw it already. Like, there's so many things that I feel like they're just running out of combinations of guys because I feel like there's so many guys that have pieces but don't have the whole picture yet, and that's starting to hurt. But I think Suji's the guy. I think Gabe Kidd got made into a star. I think this is the second year in a row where you look at Wrestle Kingdom and say that could be considered a match of the year candidate. The third year, really, because you had Ospreay and Omega the year before. So, and you had Danielson and ZSJ last year. So I feel like they always excel on the work rate side, but like Okada and Ospreay leaving is hurting this product. And I feel like it was a really fun couple of shows. I didn't think Finley and Brody King was going to be as much fun as it was. But like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Like, you got to have something lined up for Zach, and Suji just won. So you don't want to like undercut him. I like Goto, but unless you're going to like, I don't know. I don't like, then what's next for Goto? You know what I mean? Like, who's a contender for him? It's just
David Finlay.
Finley. Does he beat Goto though? Does Goto beat Finley? Like,
yes. So Hiroki Goto's in like the final stages of his career, and New Japan is notorious with doing stuff like this where he gets his swan song for being, you know, a New Japan soldier through and through. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Stealing John Cena's thunder.
From Goto to Finley and maybe back to Zach.
I don't hate that. But
because I don't, and I think Shota's going to be the first one of the Reiwa Musketeers to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. I felt like you're right. I think it went 40 minutes because of the injury earlier in the night, but I was like, I feel like him as a babyface also just does not work. Like, babyface Shota, I don't think has anything to him that's interesting. And when I was watching that match, I just felt like, man, everything that makes Zach innovative is getting cut out by the kind of one-trick pony-ness of what I feel like we get from Shota. I think he has more jackets than he has wrestling tricks. I'll say it that way.
Switching gears for a second, what do you think of how Mercedes Moné has been performing on pay-per-views as of late? I mean, her with Statlander and AEW for the last 2 shows have been tremendous. I thought her and Mina Shirakawa had a really serviceable, good match on Wrestle Dynasty. So what are your thoughts first on that match, and then her overall performance as of late in the ring?
Man, I feel like night and day from where things started. Like, she's on a run of 5 or 6 really great matches that I think kind of back up the character that she came in with. I don't know what the fuck happened to Camille. That's a weird one. But, like, all of her matches internationally have been great. Like, even at Fight Club, we had to open up the Match of the Year awards on the women's side because she turned in 2 late that have been so damn good. I felt like her and Chris Statlander the second time around, maybe because they had the time, they had the over 20 minutes to go, put on, I mean, probably a top 3 women's match in AEW history. I feel like she has pivoted to being what she was advertised as when she came in. And it's kind of interesting to look at the AEW women's division right now because the top is so strong. And then the middle to the bottom, they don't give the TV time to do anything with. So like Deonna Purrazzo is just there. But like Willow, Chris, Mercedes, Mariah, and Tony, I feel like are all in really good spots. But I think the CEO like turned it around, and it's so funny because it was like, what if the big secret to unlocking what Mercedes needed was, what if we just gave her a bunch of time and good opponents to wrestle really good matches? Like, oh yeah, I think that's kind of the secret sauce with her. I have no idea where the Camille storyline went or what happened with that. But
so Wrestle Kingdom, your favorite night of the year, essentially. Wrestle Dynasty, you really enjoyed. If you had to pick your favorite match from the weekend, Kate, which match would that be?
Kenny and Gabe. I just feel like it didn't feel like Kenny lost a step, first of all. And I saw somebody say, and I agree, I was like, I love Will Ospreay so much. But someone said there is still an artistic gap between Kenny and Will. And I feel like we saw that show up this weekend. Also, I thought Gabe Kidd was excellent. I think he's like definitely the next runner-up of that discussion we were just having. I feel like it's probably Zach, Gabe, Suji, and then down the line, I think Fujita has everything you need. But I thought as far as like the story and the match quality and the energy was just there this year in a way that I feel like it hadn't been the past couple years as well. But I loved the mixed reactions for Kenny. I love that the Terminator clap got started on its own, but I love that like Kenny Omega is finally back in wrestling and he was still generating boos. I think that Gabe Kidd like is the perfect combination of shit talking and brawling that they need in a way that I feel like a lot of other people are trying to be right now. I would even say Moxley's in that category of trying to be something that Gabe Kidd is just very naturally good at right now. Every interview that guy does, he's just, I love it. He's fuck Tony Khan, fuck Kenny Omega, fuck AEW, fuck everything that's not New Japan. Like the guy just gets it. And
he's got a very like Conor McGregor type like vibe to him, but like more of a total badass.
Yeah, his disposition is just perfect, and he's so all in on himself. That it's really refreshing. Like it's a really refreshing guy to have, and it's someone that I think New Japan desperately needs right now. But that match, I just thought from beginning to end was excellent. I also thought it was an impossible task to follow that, but I thought Zach and Ricochet was actually really good too. I loved what we got from that as well. But yeah, Brody and Finley definitely surprised me too. That was a lot of fun. Like I did not know that Finley could get Brody King up for a power bomb with ease. Like that man's power game was awesome. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really fun watch.
Yeah, I agree. New Year's Dash left more. It wasn't as exciting as it had been the last 2 years, but they set up a lot of nice things. ELP and Jeff Cobb, they obviously teased Hiroki Goto and Zack Sabre Jr. it'll be interesting to see what 2025 brings for New Japan. Kate, what does 2025 have in store for Ms. Kayfabe?
Sure. So I'm doing some more content on my own channel. I'm doing a lot more like playful stuff than analytical stuff.
Oh, feet stuff?
No, please. I'm not giving that shit away for free. Are you kidding?
I mean,
Come on
That's,
now.
that's my girl. Smart.
That's his. He finally talked. Tony hasn't said anything about Kate since she's been on screen. He
I
hasn't even said a
know. I
word
was
to her.
like, do I look bad? Why isn't he making jokes like about my tits or something? It feels wrong.
Yeah, Kate. I don't know. This is
Flip it.
Kate. This is Tony's whole outlook on Wrestle Kingdom 19.
I don't even care if it's during Wrestle Kingdom. I just want to go get some fucking vending machine panties.
Tony like is pulling teeth to get him to go to a show in New Jersey, but he's going to Japan for the wrestling.
That's not
like,
true. I went to
Kingdom
went to
vending
Cost-
machine panties.
I went to Karlstad a couple weeks ago.
That was like 2 months ago, and it's definitely going to take a lot more to pull you out of the house next time.
Well, listen, that really
You gotta pay 40.
that really hit me in the wallet, bro. $40. Come on.
XP Dub Stan Tony.
Listen, man, I've been scoping the Heart Ballroom. They're not coming back. I think XPW's Dunzo Magunzo.
They did everything they could to make that a reality, but you can catch me. I think you were trying to set me up to plug my stuff, and then we made it about feet. So you can catch me
Trying to make you a couple bucks.
at Miss Kate Fabe. Tomorrow I'm doing a video that is recasting Wicked with wrestlers, which was a lot of fun to do. And later in the week, I'm doing 5 things that both WWE and AEW could be better at, because I feel like there's something that both companies could be doing a better job out.
Wait, only 5 for AEW?
No, it's honestly, I got plenty of complaints about both, but this is what both companies need to be better at. Like, I feel like both companies, for example, need to learn the difference between dragged out storytelling and long-term storytelling. So it's things that actually both of them share. So tribalism can shove itself up its ass. And
Speaking
I think
of,
they both need help.
Speaking of dragged out and long time, like, is the Mark Order done being on vacation? What the fuck's going on over there, Kate?
Yeah, we took Christmas Eve off and we took New Year's Eve off, or Christmas Day off and New Year's Day off. So you can catch me there every Wednesday that I can be there at Mark Order Pod. We're back to the grind after a restful year.
Who's on that show these days?
Me, thanks for tuning in. No. I'm kidding. It's me, Ryan, and Asian Joe. So
Nice.
yeah, we have a good time. We have a good time talking all things All Elite. Other than that, you can catch me on Fightful and Fightful Select each day of the week. So you can check us out there. But yeah, subscribe to my own YouTube channel. Fightful's fine. They don't need your money. Come support me and my YouTube channel and maybe my foot stuff. You never know.
I don't know, Kate. That pay raise. I mean, that paywall has gone up a little bit. I don't know if I can afford it anymore.
$6.
That whole dollar bump. Whoa.
You would be surprised.
You know, if you guys
So ruffled.
if you guys ever need a fourth mic, Handsome Kevin watches AEW every week. I'm sure he'd be happy to chime in.
Actually, I miss those guys. Maybe I'll pop on every now and then.
It's great to be here. We know Kevin's thoughts, and respectfully, we're just gonna